Many blessings, my beautiful star family. My name is Rebecca, and this is my report for Pillars of the Moon for the new lunar tide of the new moon, which was yesterday in Leo. Um, yeah, so let's just dive on in. So wonderful to have you all with me today, and I'm really grateful for your patience with me putting this report out for you all. I've had lovely family holidays in this beautiful Leo energy. So yeah, I'm a day behind schedule today, but perfect timing as always. So yeah, so the new moon was yesterday, which was the 16th of August at 10:38, and it was in the stars of Leo. It was pretty close to Venus, who's retrograde, and also the black moon Lilith, who, yeah, was really close to the new moon as well. So I'm going to talk about a bit about this during this cycle, and what that could be bringing up for us during this lunar tide. So yeah, those of you who've been following me for a little while will know that I love to look at the whole package of the cycle. So I don't just look at the new moon, for example, I look at the whole picture of the whole cycle, and everything comes in a whole cycle with a beginning, a waxing energy in the full moon, and then a waning energy and back to the new moon again. So this is a cycle that we're working with every lunar tide. And so when we're beginning with the new moon in Leo, it really is the seed of a new cycle. So as we're coming into this new cycle, we can really feel like the parts of us that are really initiating within us of this new cycle. What people are we talking to? How are we feeling? What is coming up for us? And so this new lunar cycle, we are really, really attuning to the energies of Black Moon Lilith and Venus. So, and it's really interesting because when we look at the whole cycle as one, it's amazing because the first quarter moon is in Libra on the 24th of August at 10:57. And Libra is a ruler of Venus. Well, Venus is the ruler of Libra, right? But she's also the leader of Taurus as well. So Taurus and Libra are both Venusian signs, right? And so the first quarter moon will be in Libra, and the last quarter moon will be in Taurus. And during this cycle, Venus is going to go direct out of her retrograde. So, and that'll be on the 4th of September. So right before, a few days before the last quarter moon. So this cycle feels incredibly Venusian, and the full moon will be in Aquarius on the 31st of August. At 2:35 in the morning, and all these times are for the GMT time zone, so you can look up your own time zone at timeanddate.com. So yes, and some people say that this full moon in Aquarius is a blue moon and all these things. Just wanted to share around that I don't particularly believe in blue moons, because you'd only have a blue moon, which is 2 moons in a month, if you were using a Gregorian calendar system, it doesn't fit in the cycles of time generally. And we all know that it's higgledy-piggledy. And so you have 13 moon cycles in a year. That makes up a whole year. So 28-day cycles. And like that's how the Mayan calendar works. So you could never have 2 moons in a month unless you were using months that were not in tune with the cycles. So that's just my little nugget on the blue moon phenomena that everyone goes on about, because I don't connect with it like that. I've actually, in my journal that I write in, I actually stopped putting the date and just the day and the day of my moon cycle that I'm on instead. And yeah, I know on here I've got the Gregorian calendar dates, but for my personal kind of world, I'm trying not to use so much of the Gregorian calendar dates, although, you know, my life I do as well, because I have to with things. But like for me, like my real kind of intuition is to come into the cycles of nature and the cycles of the stars and how they are in complete harmony and union with each other. And it feels like this whole cycle with the Venusian energy, with the Venus being with the new moon and black moon Lilith, and first quarter moon in Libra, last quarter moon in Taurus, you know, it's such an invitation into all of the things that Venus symbolizes, you know, to our hearts, to all that we love and we want to create and weave into this world. And isn't it interesting that, you know, this is happening as Venus is in her retrograde and she's going back into the womb of Cancer to reclaim a part of herself that was lost, and then she will come and gather that. And interestingly, at the time when she begins to go direct, she will be very close to Black Moon Lilith and Juno again in Cancer. So there is like this reclaiming something from her home, from her origin, a part of her that was lost, that she is now, when she starts to go direct, by the end of this cycle, she's going to be moving forward again, and she will have reclaimed something of herself that was perhaps lost in the dark, you know, because the Cancerian energy where Venus is going into, you know, the ocean is dark, it's deep, there's things down in the bottom, in the depths, that we are really gathering and finding and seeking these parts of ourselves. And this is how it links into the Black Moon Lilith being so close to the new moon, you know, like Black Moon Lilith symbolizes all of the parts of us that have been rejected or violated or shoved down in the dark. She is the embodiment of the dark feminine, you know. And so Black Moon Lilith with the new moon and Venus, it's like all of these parts of our psyche that were rejected or told that we couldn't be that, you know, like the wild primal feminine rage, you know, all of our primal wild nature, you know, the energy of rebirth, transformation, the blood, menstrual blood, and the cycles of the womb, and our power to create life and also destroy it, you know. And every time we bleed, as those of us who have wombs, you know, we are releasing that life that is no longer needed. So the energy of the feminine has the power to create and the power to destroy. And so this energy of the new moon with, you know, in Leo with Black Moon Lilith and Venus, it's like asking us to find these parts of us that we have been hidden from us, even that we've hidden from ourselves, and that we can call it forth now. Like, I've been having such a big journey with my rage and the parts of me that I'm wanting to call forth and actually reclaim that. And the energy of rage is so powerful. And if we are channeling that rage into something, it's such an incredible force, you know, like it can actually create from that place some powerful change and shifts in this world. And this is the invitation, I feel, this whole lunar cycle. There's a lot happening in this lunar cycle. So I'm just going to read to you like what is happening during this cycle as like an overview, and then we'll jump into the live sky. So yeah, new moon was yesterday, and Mercury is about to go retrograde as well. So Mercury is going to be going retrograde. I think we've got the 23rd of August. Then we have the next day, our first quarter moon in Libra, the 24th of August. And then Uranus is going retrograde as well this month. So the 29th of August, that will be happening. Then we're going to have our full moon in Aquarius, conjunct Saturn. Wow, aligned with the royal star Fomalhaut, which I'll talk a bit more about as well once we jump into the live sky. That's on the 31st of August. Then we've got Jupiter going retrograde. Wow. On the same day as Venus goes direct. So that's the 4th of September. So that's a big day, right? 4th of September. So Venus is coming out of her retrograde as Jupiter's going in. So there's a changing over of that energy. Last quarter moon will be on the 6th of September, and that will be in Taurus. Our next new moon after that will be the 15th of September, and that will also be in Leo, right at the end of Leo. So in 13 star sign astrology or constellational astrology or life sky astrology that I use, we sometimes get 2 lunar cycles in the same constellation because we use the live sky as our astronomy, and because some of the constellations like Leo is quite large, you know, it can go through a whole lunar cycle and then a bit more, you know, and then the Virgo constellation is like, I think it's 44 days it takes the sun to go through Virgo because it's so big, you know, so we quite often have 2 lunar cycles in Virgo as well. So because all of the constellations are different shapes and sizes, it's not like divided equally like a pizza as Western astrology has it, you know, it's very, the constellations are different shapes and sizes. So that's why I just attune to the sky as it is and what feels like resonates for me. Yeah, so the next new moon will be in Leo again, on the 15th of September. So we have that whole cycle of September, and then after that we're coming into our eclipse season. So we've got this cycle, next cycle, and then it's eclipse season. So we're building up to, you know, a period of deep transformation. And that eclipse season will be happening over the Samhain-Beltane portal as well. Incredibly powerful time to be having these eclipses. And the Samhain energy is like the new year for us who are druids and pagans. You know, so powerful cycle ahead, powerful few cycles. It's just a very incredible time to be alive right now, you know, with all of the things that are going on and to be witness to all this great change in the world. Yeah, so let's jump into the live sky. Yeah, so I use Stellarium Web to look in the live sky. It's an exact map of the sky as it is. So I'm going to put the date in the calendar here back in time. We're going to go back to the 16th of August, and the time of the new moon was 10:38 in the morning. And let's see where it really is. Although I think Western astrology is still saying it's in Leo as well, so everyone can agree this month. Although Western astrology is saying that it's at the end of Leo, but obviously we can see. So 16th, yesterday, 10:38. This is the constellation Leo, the lion. Rawr. We've got the sun and the moon together here. This is a new moon. The sun and the moon come together. And yeah, right at the beginning of Leo. So you can see this red line is the border of Leo. So the sun and the moon are right in Leo. And now Venus is technically, she's out of the constellation boundaries of Leo. And this is the boundaries of the constellation Cancer. So I've spoken a lot about her in my last report, my last new moon report about Venus's retrograde journey and her union with Mars. And when she comes back into union, when she is conjunct Mars again, will actually be in the sign of Capricorn. So a lot of what Venus is journeying with at the moment, you know, is connected to the father and the energy of Saturn. So the full moon, you know, she will be opposing Saturn, who is in Aquarius. She'll be opposing the full moon. So it's going to be a very interesting time, where I guess we are really looking at our connection to the father figure, or the sacred masculine, or the seed guardian, as I like to think of it. Yeah. So the new moon and sun together in Leo. So bringing it back to, you know, this new lunar cycle and what it is potentially about, you know, like the black moon Lilith is here as well, and Venus is going back in Cancer, but it's still quite close to the sun and the moon. So a lot to do with, yeah, the parts of us that we can bring, like the parts of us with black moon Lilith that have been shamed, rejected, like judged, left in the dark. You know, these parts of ourselves, like the Venusian energy, this cycle is calling it to bring it into love, to bring it into our heart, to bring it home, actually, you know, to really, like, you know, when we was a child, how was it when we were angry? Was we allowed to be angry? Did we hold space for that rage, or was we told to be quiet, sit down, you know, stop that, or go to your room, you know? And how was that, you know, or was we met with more anger, more rage? So the lion energy can bring a lot of this fiery, feisty, fighting kind of energy. We could be feeling a bit gnarly and a bit like black moon Lilith with the sun and the moon in Leo. It could be like there's this kind of like roaring wildness inside of us that's like churning to get our attention. And so we could be exploring this lunar cycle, you know, what am I angry about? Actually, what are we all angry about? And can we find ways to channel that anger productively into something incredible? And this is the power of rage. You know, you just look at like the power of fire to create or destroy, you know, and it can create warmth. You know, the energy of Leo, the energy of the sun, so it's creating warmth, it's creating connection and community and tribe, but it can also burn down. I mean, we only have to look at, you know, Hawaii and all of the places over the planet that are on fire right now. Sending my love and blessings to you all, and to those lands. And there is something that is in this that's like, you know, the world doesn't need to burn if we can allow that rage that's inside of all of us a place. You know, it's showing us our connection to our rage that isn't being expressed, you know, and we can keep it down, keep it in, don't look at it, but it's still there, you know. And I have this incredible gift of having two young children and getting to explore their full spectrum of feeling, you know. So sometimes they're incredibly happy and giggling, at other times they're screaming and shouting and angry, you know. So I'm getting to reparent myself as I'm parenting my children in their feelings. So I'm encouraging them to feel all of their feelings, to feel their rage, to feel the anger, to feel the jealousy, to feel all of it, the impatience, the frustration, the sadness, the loneliness, you know, all of these things, rejection, isolation, to really explore the darker parts of our psyche. And it's when we come into union with those parts of ourselves that we can find wholeness. We're not, it's not like an unconscious thing that's governing us from the underworld, but we're bringing it into our being to integrate that part of us that was lost or that was rejected, and all those things. So I've been feeling as well a lot about this whole cycle was like, you know, the lions, they gather together in community. They are in a pride. Venus is going back in her retrograde, and she'll be going all the way back to the Beehive cluster, which is in constellation Cancer. So let's just go back. I'm going to go to September the 4th. And let's look at Venus. So Beehive cluster, constellation Cancer. Look at this. So this is the Beehive cluster in the constellation Cancer. So I've been feeling like this journey of Venus, you know, it's come from the heart of the lion Regulus. She was with Mars and she was in union, and now she's had to let all of that go, and she's had to go back. She's had to go back into the ocean, into the dark, into the womb, go home to her origin, to find something. And this is in the Beehive cluster, you know. So when we're going back to the Beehive cluster, you know, the word that keeps coming up again and again for me is around belonging. It's around this sense of belonging and wanting to be part of something greater, and how so many of us, you know, we may feel like there is a part of us that doesn't belong, that isn't welcome here, you know, depending on how we was born, you know, what the things that were said to us when we first came into this world. I was told that I looked like an alien because I was premature. That was my first mantra that I, you know, came into this world with, and I've always felt like a bit of an alien, like I didn't belong. So I've been doing a lot of work on this and finding my it's so funny, like, because I've been finding through connecting to the energy of my soul, imagining that each soul is like a star and each star is like a sun, and how big and vast our sun is, that we all spiral around, that we're journeying around, and how when we're connecting to the energy of our soul, how humongous we actually are. And then we're in this small little body, you know, and how, like, I had it come through in a shaking meditation last weekend, actually. It's like this absolute laughter because I was just like, because I was premature, I was very small, you know, and it's like, how could you ever be small? You're a soul, you are so vast, you are like, and we're connected to everything, you know, every plant, every animal, every bit of air that comes in, all the water we drink, it's all connected, you know. And so there is a lot that we can be doing around this sense of belonging and wanting to be part of something, because it's very, like, intrinsic in our bones. Like, we remember that, you know, at one point we would live more in community, we would live closer and be washing our laundry together by the river, and very much more connected than we are now in our separate little boxes. And so I think there we have a yearning to be together, and a yearning to find our pride in our tribe, and to co-create and weave together. And I feel like this is what this full moon could be bringing a lot for us. You know, I'm going to go to the full moon now, 31st of August. So you can see here the full moon is going to be in Aquarius. Saturn is in Aquarius. Let's just change the time because that doesn't look quite right. Yeah, 2:35. Okay, that's better. It's closer to Saturn now. See how fast the moon goes? Okay, so this is the Royal Star Formal Heart, which I was sharing about a bit earlier. One of my favorite stars, the Royal Star of the South. And Formal Heart is connected to the divine messenger Gabriel. So all of the royal stars have angels associated with them. They're the guardians of each gateway of the heavens. And so the energy of Gabriel, you know, Gabriel came at the birth of Jesus. So the energy with Saturn, with Formal Heart, you know, it's like there is an energy of, like, is to help us release from the past, this full moon coming up, which will be in Aquarius, to release from the past, to open up a new era for us. You know, the birth of Jesus, it represented a new era, the age of Pisces. And I feel like what we're experiencing now with Saturn in Aquarius conjunct Fomalhaut, like Fomalhaut to me is like, it symbolizes like the flow of life, the flow of resources that are available to us as humanity, and how we can open ourselves up to a new era by releasing the past, the rage and the anger, maybe at Saturn, at Capricorn energy, at the patriarchy, at the systems and the structures that have made us feel trapped in like a cog of this kind of society, right? And Fomalhaut to me, it inspires future vision. It's about an evolved humanitarian society, and we can pursue new ideas. We can look at arts and science and technology and the social issues of the world. And we can use the energy of Fomalhaut, which comes from, you know, the Aquarian energy is pouring its chalice down to the mouth of the fish so that we can drink from this eternal fountain, this eternal river of life, you know, which comes from Aquarius, which comes from the Holy Grail, to fill ourselves up, to drink from this flow of resources which are here for us. And we can tap into this energy to open ourselves to this new era. You know, but there's a lot that we are having to release, and it's not like it's a quick process. It takes time. It takes, you know, repeating, and each time, like we journey with a deep trauma or a deep process in ourselves, and we release some of it. It's like peeling off layers of an onion. You know, there's always more. And what are we coming back to when we're peeling off all these layers? It's just like Anana, you know, as she takes off all of her layers and she goes into the underworld. It's our soul. We are peeling off all these layers of the past, outfits that we've put on, identities, ideas, stories, to come back to love. The energy of creation is love. The energy of the cosmos is love. And this is my reality. And of course, there's different aspects and different stories and things that may say different to that, but you know, that's how the way that I perceive things. But love has two different faces, and I experienced this in my birth journey. You know, I had Amber coming in, my child, with all this golden light and love and energy of purity, new life coming in. And then I released the placenta, and it's the dark, it's the blood, it's the letting go of the old, it's the DNA and the bloodline. You know, that's released. And so there's like the birth is the life and the light, and then the dark is all that was, and the blood of the ancestors and the DNA that needs to be cleared. And then that is the death. You know, the placenta then traditionally, and the way that I do it, is we put the placentas in the earth, you know, and that is like a burial. That is the symbol of death and the ending of that cycle to begin a new life, you know. So, and love is both of those things. Love is the unifying force that connects life and death. And, you know, with the Libran energy, the first quarter moon is like, the first quarter moon is in Libra. Libra is the gates to the underworld. You know, so it's like we leave this life in peace and in love with the Libran energy. And then the Taurian energy on the other side is where we come out, we give birth into the spring and the new life of the body and the physical from the spiritual realms of the fish, of Pisces, of the ocean, the waters, the cosmos. Wow. I didn't know I was going to say all of that. This is amazing, right? When I'm tapping into the energy of Fomalhaut, like, there's so much here. This is the fountain of youth, and our flow of energy and resources, you know. So incredible full moon coming up for us. So yeah, that's looking at the live sky. I'm going to talk about the new moon in Leo, which was yesterday. I can see nearly fell off my chair. Okay, so let's have some water. So we have our sun and moon at 4 degrees of Leo. Venus I have at 0 degrees of Leo, but we could see in the live sky that she's actually over in the borders of Cancer. It just depends on what boundaries you use in the astrology charts, but I like to be like a merging of things, and yeah. So the charts that I draw up are coming up that she's already in, she's still in Leo, but she's on the border, you know, she's over the gate, she's in the ocean. Maybe she's just on the shore. She's just on the shore of the ocean, and the waves are kind of like teasing her home at the time of this new moon. Black moon Lilith here, 5 degrees of Leo. And you can see Saturn in Aquarius over here. This is where the full moon will be. So all of the primal parts of us, the wildness, the rawness, the realness, the rage, the anger, the parts of the sexual parts of us that we've been hiding from, you know, the parts of us that are denied, you know, how can we, this lunar cycle, really embrace that wild, raw, feminine power, and however that looks, and how can we witness it in ourselves and others, and really hold presence for that and bring that into love. I feel like this is the real work of this lunar cycle, and you can see it's in trine as well to Chiron, and it's in trine to the North Node. So the energy of this new moon is bringing us to our destiny of healing. We are healing from lifetimes and lifetimes of pent up rage and not being able to speak our truth and our voice, and maybe being disconnected from the community and the tribe. Or, you know, I think back to the burning days where the witches were burned for being who they are, for being powerful women. That's what a witch is a wise woman, right? So it's all of the times that we've been burnt and destroyed for being in our power, or being ourselves, or being sexual, or being beautiful even, you know. So Venus is taking us into this place of love and beauty for ourselves and our body, but also like the power of the dark, and how the bringing all of these parts into ourselves and really loving those parts of ourselves is bringing us healing. And this healing is healing for the collective, and healing which is our destiny, which has to be done before we can move into the age of Aquarius. We have to heal the Piscean age. We have to heal all that we haven't been allowed to be, you know, all of the parts of us that, you know, have become so domesticated. You know, I've just had 3 days in a field with bare feet and like no shower, and it was just the best, you know. And how can we return to this wildness in ourselves, you know, that is just so connected to nature and the cycles. And actually when I was in the fields, because there was no like light pollution, I saw 2 shooting stars, and I saw the Milky Way, and it was so beautiful, you know. So in reconnecting to this wildness in ourselves, we reconnect to everything, to the cosmos, to the land. We'll be so grounded in our body. It's like we can then bring the visions down into the physical. But if we're not in our body, and we're not like feeling comfortable and safe and belonging here, is that word again, belonging here in this earth and this land, no, we are not going to be at our full capacity to create this new future vision for the evolved humanitarian society, Aquarius, that we're moving towards. So the steps are reclaiming the parts that were lost in the dark, Black Moon Lilith and Venus. Yes. We have to do this. We have to allow ourselves to be angry. Like there's a lot to be angry about. And And I don't mean like go and shout at each other or hurt each other, but to just really feel the anger in ourselves and just do some work to really express it into something, some art or something creative. And this is the Leo energy. It's like creating from that energy, creating change from that energy. You know, I've had stories of mothers who, when they need to protect their child, they can take on this otherworldly power and strength that they, you know, you can watch on YouTube, that they lift up cars and things to rescue children. And okay, this power is so strong and it's been suppressed. Power of the mother. You know, so wow. Oh my goodness. So we need to collectively, I feel, and myself, of course, I'm part of the collective, to see our anger as sacred, to see our anger as something that can change all that is wrong in ourselves and around us. To be like, no, actually, no, I'm done with that. And yeah, so powerful. I've just noticed as well that Juno, who's very kind of connected to domestic kind of things, she's the wife of Jupiter, she's connected to marriage and commitment and all of those kind of things, opposing Pluto, you know, so a lot could be coming up for us this cycle around like the home and domestic things, and we're transforming Pluto in opposition. We are destroying some outdated patterns and beliefs from the past around the home and society and how we need to be, you know, pretty little things all tied in a row and sweeping the floors and doing our jobs, and you know, and like actually like there's like something here is transforming for the energy of the wife, you know, the mother, the domestic kind of stay-at-home mum or whatever, you know, and actually like that voice to speak, you know. Wow. Feels like, wow, I just need to let that settle for a moment because it feels like there's a lot. Yeah. So Mars is conjunct Mercury and Pallas Athena, all in Leo as well. So as I was just saying about the voice of anger and the voice of rage and the voice of justice, this is exactly what it is. This is the lion roaring for all that is unjust. This is the lion speaking the truth about the imbalances in the world and the imbalances in our own being, in ourselves. Enshrined to Pluto, retrograding in Sagittarius, you know, also enshrined to Uranus in Aries. This is the grand fire trine. Wow. Have you seen this? This is a grand fire trine between Pluto, Sagittarius, Uranus in Aries, who's on the cusp of going into Taurus, but he's not going there yet because he's going to go retrograde, don't forget, this cycle. No, so we're not going, you're not going into Taurus yet, Uncle Uranus. You're still here in Aries and Cetus kind of energy, you know. And all of the Mars and Mercury and Athena energy here in Leo. Poof, this could feel really fiery. We could be feeling quite gnarly, feisty, just wanting to shout it all out, you know. So watch out for that. The first quarter moon, which will be in Libra, you know, this is at, oh wow, it's at 22 degrees. Wow, that's the number of Magdalene. How beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. And now Mars is crossed over into Virgo. And Mercury is now retrograde, as you can see here. That little R means he's going back. Venus is in Cancer. She's coming still retrograde. And this grand trine is still happening. we've got a lovely trine to this first quarter moon, which is with Neptune and Juno. So this energy, oh yeah, and it's trining Venus too, right? So there is this real energy of like intuition, of like tuning into our vision, you know, our inspiration, all these new ideas that I was speaking about. You know, we could be feeling that they're actually, we're starting to get a real picture of this dream, you know, and by doing the work in our body to make ourselves feel safe and welcome and loved, you know, we can really start to bring in these ideas into the physical, you know. So it's this great work that we're all doing now. Like, it's like massive work, and it feels like there is a creative vision that is brewing in our soul and in the cosmos, that is coming down and into our being. But we need to clear space for it to come in, right? So that means releasing stuff from the past to allow the new world vision to come in. I'm not going to talk too much more about the charts because I'm going to do the full moon in Aquarius in 2 weeks when I come back and do another video for you all. But I just wanted to show you the moon and Saturn together here in Aquarius, and they're aligned to Royal Star Fomalhaut, which I said to you. You know, so this energy is really kind of like opposing Lilith, opposing like that dark feminine energy, and Mercury is in trine. Mercury retrograde is creating a grand trine. So this Pluto energy is still going on with this trine with Uranus, and Mercury now retrograde as well. So it feels like a really dynamic, transformative energy for change and for moving through some of these old things, and really we could be feeling quite physical, you know, with this fiery energy, and really creative. So I would suggest like embracing that energy of creation and getting artistic. Maybe we'll be with our communities, we could do arts and dance and crafts and singing, performing, you know, whatever it is that inspires our vision to grow. And I find when I'm in that creative place, it's like more comes, and there's always more, right? So it's like tapping into that infinite flow of resources, which is, you know, Fomalhaut and the fountain of youth in Aquarius. So yeah, I'll talk about the last quarter moon in Taurus when I come back in 2 weeks' time. So anything I just want to quickly say, yes, oh well, by the time that we're at the last quarter moon, which you can see here in Taurus, Venus is out of her retrograde, and she's with Lilith and she's with Juno, and she's moving out of the dark. She's coming up. She's coming up. She's going to be reborn. It's going to be amazing, right? So, what a big cycle. And, you know, it's really preparing us for, you know, when we get to our eclipse season, which is coming up in a couple of cycles' time. So, yeah, with all of that being said, I'm hoping that some of that is really helpful for you all. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. And if you like it, please share and subscribe. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to be sharing this wisdom with you all. All right, thank you, my darlings. Blessed new cycle. Mwah. Ciao for now.